You're right, Gangrene UK. You're joining us for episode 32. It's a game review with myself, Kane, and James. We're going to talk about the first game against the tuna fish. Kane, how are you feeling? We're 4 days on. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
And
How are you feeling, Kane?
okay.
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 Not convinced, but I'll
Yeah.
take it. It's better than
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah.
How about you, James? How are you feeling?
Feeling optimistic. I think we had a lot of young players play well. Moore had a great performance, but just more annoyed than anything that we kind of let it slip away because they shouldn't have won that game. We played well enough to win it, and just I think we deserved that win, but didn't get it. So on to the next one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you're feeling the same, yeah, Kane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping for better things next game.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. That game is. Do you remember me saying at the beginning of the season there were some games that the only way I saw us not winning was us to lose it? And we lost that game.
Yep.
And you know what? I can't even put it down to an individual moment where we lost the game. It wasn't because we missed kicks, they missed kicks, all around. It was two not great teams.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dolphins are meant to be 2 years ahead of us.
I think it was defense, to be honest. That lost the game. Offense were clicking, to be fair. Even when Carter went down and we just changed it up and we was doing okay. Defense just couldn't stop them at all.
So should we talk defense to start with? Because let's face it, we always like to end on a positive, and we know the positive is the offense at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
So big games on defense for me. My boy Ashton Davis comes in with an interception, which is more than Jamal Adams ever did.
That was nice.
Can we just point how fast he went to get under that ball?
Yeah, great pick.
He took a great line,
Yep.
which he's not famous for. So yeah, that was a highlight on defense for me. To go with these 4 tackles, 2 assisted, and his interception. I'm chuffed he got his interception.
It's always cool when we get an interception. It's only like the second interception of the season, so
Yeah, and it's his first of his career, which it's a nice time to come because at the end of the day now, he's playing for a starting spot next year because he was a backup last year. He's kind of had to be forced in this year, but only down to injury. So he's still a backup. Next year, he knows there's going to be a safety spot available. He's showing everybody now, I want that spot. Anybody else stand out for you guys? Go to you first, Kane.
Mark Carter.
The second.
Yeah.
MK2. MC2.
It just looked pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's growing every game, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 5-2 were his stats, which I'll take that.
I don't think he's given up a touchdown either this season so far.
Yeah, I don't have that one in front of me, but I'll take one. It sounds about right. He seems to be playing pretty well.
Yeah.
What about you, James? Anybody stand out?
I'd say Quincy Williams kind of went 100% all day, was flying around, getting tackles, stopping them from breaking the big play. I really like him, man. 100% effort. I think we keep him if we can. I really like that guy.
He hits hard, man. He just flies into him.
Yeah. Reckless abandon, mate. He doesn't care about his body or the other person. Just flies in there, mate. Top man.
So I thought the D-line were a little bit pedestrian. And when the thing is, though, when they broke the line, they didn't do anything, and they broke the line a lot. But we held them well on when I'm looking through. we held them on plays. One series for 5 yards, one series for 0 yards, one series for 6 yards, one series for 9 yards, one series for -1. So we were holding them really well.
Yeah.
And we did break through, but we weren't lethal.
We just let through big plays and silly plays and waddle.
Yeah. Like, I honestly believe, even when we're another 2 years into this rebuild, big plays will happen.
Yeah.
The way this defense plays, there are going to be them games where we are going to give up 300 yards, but it's those definitive stops. And we had a couple of them the other day, but for me, it all comes down to that opening drive. I know I said there wasn't any one moment, but you stopped them on that, and then we stopped them on their second series anyway. But then we go out and score. It's that thing. I think if we get that first score and we're not chasing a game, we can always beat a team by 1. Kicking, I'm worried about.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to that when we come on to offense. Anybody else on defense worth mentioning? I mean, CJ, I didn't see a lot of. His stats are typical CJ, 8-3. Bryce Hall seemed to have a decent game.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm liking Hall because he seems to be settling a bit more, and I'm liking this Carter, Hall, and then us rotating in Dunn as well.
Yeah, Eccles as well when he's on.
Yeah, I don't actually know what's happening to Eccles. He seems to have took a bit of an injury, but he kind of just disappeared off all the injury reports. But hopefully he'll come back in soon and be back onto his thing. What do you think we need to see different this week?
Just pressure. We need to get into some backfields, man. And I do love John Franklin Myers, but I think he's probably getting some deserved criticism as he hasn't really been registering many stats since he had the money. And just need to see some real pressure this week. This Texans line isn't good, you know. They are going to pound it against us, but we need to try and get to Tyrod if we can.
Yeah, and I think the thing is with Tyrod Taylor, if we hit him, we all know Tyrod doesn't like being hit. No. He doesn't handle it very well. And he goes out quite a lot.
Injury.
And then they bring in Mills, who is an unknown, which I kind of don't want that to happen because we're terrible against unknown QBs.
He's pretty bad. I've watched him a couple of times this season.
Yeah, but we've been against some terrible QBs who cut us apart. And I'm not saying Mike White is not a terrible QB, he's a serviceable QB. But in the grand scheme of things, he ain't top 10, is he? And he absolutely cut the Bengals to bits. So, it's that rarity. I thought special teams were really good the other night, apart from the kicking. I thought getting down,
good returns.
Yeah, Braxton Berrios did a couple of good returns. I thought he solidified himself for me that I would give him his contract back for next year. He's a solid return man. And then when you need him, when it's desperate, you know he's going to catch the ball for you. He'll get you 5-10 yards occasionally.
Great.
Say again.
So he's just a great little weapon, you know.
Yeah.
Big fan of him.
I thought Braden Mann was on point again. I mean, we only punted 4 times, which is good for us.
20 though. Something.
Sorry.
3 inside the 20 though, out of 4.
Yeah. His longest was 43 yards, and it went within the 20. So we pinned them back a lot.
Yeah.
Now, how are you feeling about Amendola, Ken?
Sorry, could you?
It's a bit of a letdown, isn't it? Because he showed promise and then he just keeps missing them. We've signed that new kicker, haven't we, from a tryout? And I think we're going to try him this week.
See, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
Where are you sitting on it, James?
He's the annoying thing is he's got the power and he doesn't miss kicks short. He's at the top of the uprights every time. And the one he missed on Sunday, the first one was very close. But if you're in the NFL, you need to be hitting like 90% of your kicks, and it's nowhere near that at the moment. So, I don't know.
Yeah, his longest kick this week was 35 yards.
Mm.
Right, I can make a 35-yarder.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm an alright kicker. I ain't NFL level. I've only got little legs. But my issue is, right, I think he's a great kicker.
Mm.
But I'm in that same situation as what I am with Zach. Of you've got to give him freaking kicks to get him used to it.
Yeah.
And yes, he is going to miss some. I mean, he pulled it, but a kick in the next quarter, the same way, and an older, more experienced kicker who's normally pretty solid, missed exactly the same way. So there was some wind factor into it.
Yeah.
But the second one was a bit worse. It wasn't close. So, but I don't know. I like Amendola, but what I'm hating at the minute is we have a kicker for 5 games. If he misses 3, we get rid of him.
Yeah.
Lives matter, guys. Kickers aren't just for the beginning of the season.
We did it last year as well, didn't we? Really, multiple kickers, and no one ever got settled in.
I mean, we all know my stance on the kickers. We should have drafted McPherson. He's a quality kicker with great length. But yeah, it wasn't to be. There's no kickers coming out so far that I'm like, there's a kicker. Yeah, I mean, I must be the only person that like week 11 start looking at kickers. Senior Bowl, I'm telling you, there'll be a kicker there. There'll be one to take. Now, obviously, the last couple of weeks we've had a massive discussion. We've had the second coming. We've had the third attempt, the return of the Jedi. Then he went again, and then we've had return of the Flak. Joe Flacco, how do we all feel he did?
Serviceable.
Yeah, perfect word for it. Serviceable. That's how he won the Super Bowl with the Ravens, man.
Yeah.
Get some first downs, he'll hit the open man.
Defense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of them, right? I'm looking at it. He had a 101 rating. Right, 101.6. 0.6. Where does that even come from? 291 yards, which it sounds like a lot, but when you look around the NFL at the minute, it's about average. It has become quite big in throwing because of the dual threat option of these running quarterbacks. So you do get a bit of soft coverage where you do get the yardage. 24 for 39, which, yeah, serviceable. Joe Flacco's not electric, but if you put him in, he will put some points on the board. And he did some really good throws.
He's got a great deep ball. Right.
That one to Corey Davis in the first. Now, I can't remember which way the flag went, but I know there was a flag on it.
In Galway.
And it's one of them where most QBs wouldn't have threw the ball close enough to Davis for them to pull that flag without it getting picked. So it was a good throw. I never want to see Zach make that throw for at least the next year and a half. Yeah. That's a throw that you've got to have like balls of steel for. But if Zach did that throw, like literally half the fans would turn into the Ghostbusters and start spraying him with lasers. It's just not fair. But Joe Flacco put up 291 yards. Right? This offense, since LaFleur went into the booth is the highest scoring offense in the NFL. So from week 8 to now, with 3 backups,
High scoring, almost yards.
and highest scoring, I think it is. I mean, I think it was on the group earlier. I'm not quite sure. I've kind of only just been scan reading, but I think
it's most yards.
But even then, 400 and odd yards, I think it is average, which is still legit.
Yeah.
We just don't have an out and out number one who's going to put 100 of them yards in and put touchdown on every time.
You think all them yards will come off like dump offs and short passes? Imagine when Zach comes in and he can actually throw the ball deep.
Yeah, but will we throw the ball deep? Because we're getting really good success dumping off.
So it just adds the threat, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, but then what I think the threat will bring in is defenses are going to look at it the exact way you just said it.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson's going to throw deep, so we'll sit back. Then if he dumps one off into the middle, I'll take 25 yards over 45 every time. If I'm not going for a contested catch.
First down.
Now, we mentioned the little bright spark that is Michael Carter.
Yep.
Obviously, he's gone out with, I think it's an ankle injury, is it?
Yeah.
So we're looking at a couple of weeks.
I think
how do you feel about that? Because obviously he's been very, very good for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Bit wounded, to be honest, but I think Kate said earlier, once he went down, Coleman and what's his name? The other one, Ty Johnson. Yeah. They were serviceable, and maybe gets P Ryan some snaps this weekend. Probably unlikely, but
Yeah, I think you'll see P Ryan a little bit.
Got to see what we've got with him.
One thing I did notice: Elijah Moore took a snap from the backfield and done a run. I think they were expecting some type of trick play because he got 15 yards pretty much untouched, which I'm liking to see this like kind of Swiss Army knife offense that we're doing.
We were saying that when we were saying that they need to use Elijah more like they did in college.
Yeah.
They're starting to do it.
Well, yeah, I think it's coming across now how actual special he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can only go stronger and stronger and stronger. But at the same time, we need to kind of make sure that we rein him in a little bit. Because we have seen, like, DK gone a bit crazy. Jefferson's been all right. Well, we can all mention OBJ. I mean, the boy picked a fight with a kicking net and lost. Wide receivers at the minute are getting this crazy kind of mentality about them. I don't think Elijah Moore is that way inclined.
Yeah.
But it does scare me because he is that good that in a couple of years we could be talking about him in the likes of Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs.
That's
like
fine.
That. When we look at the other wide receivers, obviously we've mentioned Corey. Give us a bit of a summary of how you're feeling about Corey Kane.
Up and down. He makes the random big play, but then he drops the easy ones.
Why do you think he does it?
I don't know. Because it's not a number one.
Bold. Don't disagree. James, how do you feel about Corey Davis? I feel kind of bad that Otis isn't here to defend him because we know he will, but we'll deal with that later.
I think we're all just waiting to see. He's being paid like a number one receiver, and we've had a couple of 100-yard games, but he doesn't stand out amongst the receivers, if you know what I mean. You don't. I think Moore was the standout yesterday, and he's just the king of drops and bad drops as well. I think we can attribute at least 3 of Zach's picks to his drops. So we got to just pick it up for this last half of the season if we want to look to keep him.
Yeah.
Still need number one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. At the minute, he's not playing like a number one. I don't think we need him to play like a number one. I would like him just to play and be consistent. I agree with his hands. His hands have been awful.
Yeah.
It is like he has a concentration issue. So whether he's overthinking his route and not getting his hands in the right place, but some of these drops that he's doing are on the numbers while in motion. So the ball's protected, it's coming in and it's going out. And you're like, that's rookie stuff. I mean, even flag football players who don't play contact are used to bringing the hand in as the ball comes. You lock it, it's in the numbers, you tuck and you go. It's one of the first things that they teach you. And that's what he seems to be struggling with. Throw it up in between three men, he'll go up one-handed, bring it down, put it under his armpit and fire it out of his arse. But you're like, just catch the simple ball. I don't need it to look spectacular.
He looks around, he looks for where can I run for the big play a lot before the ball comes in. And that's the thing where a lot of the silly drops come where he's wide open.
And it is that, right? He's one of the only wide receivers I've ever seen who can put up a pedestrian 100. Where I look at him and think, you've been awful tonight. And then you look at his stat line and you're like, 116 yards on 5 attempts. You're like, where did they come from? Like, I mean, the other night, we're saying he had 3 catches for 35, an average of 11.7, and his longest was 14. Like, that's pretty decent. Not for number one, when you've got the likes of Elijah Moore putting up 8 for 141 and Crowder 6 for 44. But I thought Crowder was a lot better. Crowder kind of woke up again the other night. He looked better in the red zone. He looked better on those kind of dump off options. But then when he got the ball, he looked strong again.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to see that.
He seems to be getting open more the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, seems to be coming back to full health, and he's a great receiver when he's in there. And I think we'll follow it up.
Yeah. So do we keep Crowder or do we trade him? Or do we? Because I think he's a free agent this year. Yeah. So we either let him walk or we pay him.
Let him go.
No, so pretty starved for receivers last season. I'll take what we can get, man. So I'd keep him if we could.
Let's see. So this is the thing. I can't see them paying Crowder while Davis is on that contract.
Yeah, you got too much of receivers already, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's some good receivers in this class.
Yeah, there's lots.
Wait and take them quite early. Trade back a couple from 5 or 6 wherever we're at. We can get another one and then go back and get another one in the second or something.
There's loads of slot receivers.
Yeah, I quite like this idea of Moore playing a bit of all over. So having another guy who can play, but then we've got Berrios, who is pretty solid in the slot, to be fair.
He makes
no Mims again. He's got COVID apparently, which if he comes back and he loses weight again, we're probably back to square one with Mims. Or they're saying that he's on COVID protocol because he's got to that point where he's putting the weight back on. I feel like there's a story, right? I reckon if Denzel Mims pulls out any half of a career, the football life story on him there'll be a very, very interesting time around this part of his career because something major is going on in that situation. Because he's better than what we're seeing. He's not an idiot. I mean, he's a college graduate.
And so, I don't know. I mean, I know it's college highlights, but he was genuinely the best receiver in college football the year before he came out. And I just don't see how. I don't know. It's just not translated, has it? And this has been his prove it year, but he doesn't get like a string of games to have a go, does he? He comes in for like a game and he drops a few and everyone has a go, but then he's out for 2 weeks. And we've never really seen who Denzel Mims is. I feel like.
Yeah, and that's the question.
I think it was stupid not to trade him when we had all the calls for him. Just before
the thing is, we don't actually know for sure there was calls about him.
Yeah, there was some things saying that.
But
calls for him and
yeah, it's one of them where that's how you can make somebody appear more valuable.
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
I know what you mean.
Unless a team came out and go, we made a call for him, and they said no, you kind of go, well, did it happen?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we all know teams have inflated
the
hype about players. I mean, we've did it a few times.
Yeah. Agents do it as well.
Yeah, and it's one of them where, I mean, I think we were saying it the other day on our chat where we were saying that Ian Rappaport really controls the trading, because whatever he says, people take as gospel. I mean, if I were him, I would literally just well, Manish did, didn't he? I would just sit there and make stuff up just to see the world go mental. But yeah, I think we have to say Elijah Moore was the highlight of that game.
Pepsi Rookie of the Week.
Absolutely. His season's not bad, to be honest.
His yards per catch is 18 yards.
Yeah, his longest is 62. Like we're 10 weeks in now. Is it week 10? Well,
Yeah.
we're into week 11, aren't we?
I think it might be 12.
I've probably lost a week.
Yeah.
So he's got 33 catches for 415 yards, which rookie wide receiver, who we weren't meant to be kind of going crazy this year. We've got another 8 games left, 7-8 games left. He's tracking to do about an 8.500 season. But at the current rate, he could end up being on around about 8 to 9 TDs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've had a wide receiver put 9 TDs on the board for a season for a good few years. I think we had Crowder who put on 8 or 9, didn't he, in 1 year? But I mean, I think he's on 4 already, isn't he? Or 5, because he ran one.
Do you think he'll hit 1,000 yards?
I don't think he will this year. But I think next year he'll put up massive numbers. And I don't think anybody will be able to stop him, to be honest.
He's great, man. Great hands as well. Like anything that comes near him isn't going. It comes in. Made some really good catches on Sunday.
Yeah, I think overall the game against the Dolphins kind of showed us what we knew. We can be in any game. We can, because we've beat teams we shouldn't even have been in the game with, and we've lost games that we should have been massively over. Everything about the stats says that game was even. They had a couple more first downs. We give a few more penalties. But everything else is just like 50-50 right across the board until we get the penalty first downs. We extended them twice. They extended us once. I think defense is tracking to be a little bit better, although it doesn't translate into watching them play. That line, we are a little bit better. We're going up against possibly the most bizarre team in the NFL at the minute, because on paper, they should be the worst team in the league. But God bless the Detroit Lions. But their lines aren't great. Their QB's average. I mean, Tyrod, I like him, but he's serviceable.
He's one of those games, he just plays his heart out, man.
But he's never going to beat you with arm strength or arm skill.
No.
He might beat you with his knowledge because he's an intelligent guy who's been around. But we should not lose this game. We might not win it, but we better not lose it.
Nah, that's all.
Like, we have to take the learnings from that Dolphins game, because the Dolphins ain't going to be excited about playing us again. Because when they've looked at all of the other games that we've played, they should have destroyed us. And they really didn't. And some of that is down to the fact that they played badly. But they have to beat what's in front of them. And we know our defense gives up yards and points. They didn't do it. So how are we feeling going into Texans this week, Kane?
Nervous.
Yeah, no Carter. Zach's back.
Zach's back, so Zach ain't got Carter to help him. Give a little leeway. Hopefully Tevin Coleman steps up a little bit. Hopefully Corey Davis is out, so Zach doesn't keep forcing it to Corey Davis, and he can just work the new play calling and shine.
I don't think we'll see Zach force one this week.
Hopefully. I think we might lose it by a small amount.
So are you saying we're going to lose it or we're not going to win it?
Lose it. No.
It's going to be self-inflicted loss, or are they going to beat us?
We're going to just come short.
I'll take that. If we play all out and we fall down because of our because they play better than us, I'm okay.
Yeah.
If we go and leave it unsaid, I'll be upset.
Yeah.
James, where are you thinking this weekend?
Yes, I think the ones we think we're going to win tend to not win. So, see what happens. Happy to see Wilson back. I think if he can run the offense, the short dump offs, Texans haven't got anyone who can tackle some of those, our fast receivers, and Ty Johnson out the backfield. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's just hope for a good showing from Zach, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the
So, in closing, it's going to be a tight game. Last week was a tight game. We've seen some positives. Elijah Moore is God. And anybody who hates Zach, well, jump off the train. I think that kind of covers it. Thanks for watching along, guys. We will get the next video out quicker next week. I think we're all kind of back on a good schedule. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Keep James happy. And we will see you next time.